Thank you for joining us today on your Labor Day. I'm naturopathic Dr. Jacqueline Moulton, and this is our health talk, how to prep for back to school and flu season. So let me ask you this, are you ready for back to school starting tomorrow? Whether you have a child in daycare, preschool, grade school, high school, or maybe you're a student in post-secondary school, this Facebook Live is meant for you. If you're watching it later on my YouTube channel, the recording's just as great. So although many of these immune health tips I share today are recommended during flu season, due to the current pandemic, let's be hyper vigilant and start from the get-go. Okay. This health talk is meant to be engaging, and I will ask questions and pause to see what the comments are posted below. This is my first ever Facebook Live, so here we go. Let's start with some background information on the immune system. The immune system is the body's primary defense against potentially harmful pathogens. It is made up of various cells, tissues, and substances, including skin, blood cells, gut bacteria, antibodies, and itty-bitty cell signaling molecules called cytokines. The immune system's defenses are generally classified as two responses, either the innate immune response or the adaptive immune response. The innate immune response is your first line of defense. It is classified as non-specific or generalized, since the defensive actions do not differ between offenders. An example would be your natural killer cells or macrophages that when they come in contact with a foreign object or substance, they attack it or they engulf it and then bring it back to the lymph node. The adaptive immune response is the body's acquired or learned response to target specific pathogens that it previously encountered. So you can't develop this without having already been exposed to it. This is how vaccines work, where you're exposed to a pathogen that's often killed and develop an antibody reaction to the pathogen. When you then come in contact with that same pathogen in your environment, your body has already developed those antibodies. This is called protective immunity. And so then those antibodies are already there and ready to attack. If you haven't been exposed to the pathogen prior, then your body must create the antibodies. And this takes time, and that's why you get sick. Because during that time that we're making it, we're not fighting it optimally. So how does the immune system get compromised? Several factors are associated with decreased immune function and increased risk of illness. This includes antibiotic use, which affects the gut microbiome, certain health conditions like allergic asthma, cardiovascular disease, certain cancers and diabetes, certain nutrient deficiencies like vitamin A, B, C, D, and E, copper, iron, selenium, and zinc. Chronic stress, which increases cortisol levels, which has been known to decrease immune function and increase inflammation. Excessive alcohol consumption, intense or excessive exercise, as well as lack of physical activity. Intestinal dysbiosis, which is another word or fancy word for imbalanced gut microbiota. Lack of sleep, smoking, and pregnancy. I know my family often jokes around flu season that the kids are petri dishes or cesspools because they often come home sick and then spread it to the rest of the family. So what can you do to prevent this? Let's review some lifestyle recommendations to improve immune health. First, Maintain a healthy diet. Have you ever heard the saying, you are what you eat? Research suggests that a poor nutritional state impairs immune function and increases your susceptibility to disease. Are you feeding or fighting disease? Consuming a balanced whole foods diet supports overall health and immune function. Do you need help creating an immune, healthy, and kid-friendly menu plan? If yes, please visit my website, www.drjmoultonnd.com, and I'll give links below, and I'll repeat that later. Second is to manage your stress. While short-term stress may stimulate both innate and adaptive immune responses, chronic stress has been shown to suppress immune function. Long-term or chronic stress may decrease immune cell count and increase inflammatory responses. Incorporate ways to manage your stress, such as counseling, mindfulness, and yoga. What kind of activities do you like to reduce your stress? Oftentimes, I'm recommending hobbies that people already like, something that's going to put you in your comfort zone or be your beach. Third, exercise regularly. Research has shown that lifelong regular physical activity may have immunoprotective effects. On the other hand, strenuous exercise, such as competitive athletic training, may result in an impaired immune system and increase the risk of infection. Not sure how much is too much? Or are you a beginner looking for exercise recommendations? If yes, again, please visit my website. And lastly, get adequate, good quality sleep. When was the last time you woke up feeling refreshed? Chronic sleep loss has been associated with immunodeficiency, increased inflammatory markers, and impaired response to influenza vaccination, and increased susceptibility to the common cold. According to the Center of Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, adults require 7 or more hours of sleep per night. The general guideline for toddlers is around 12 hours. Children ages 3 to 6 is 10 to 12 hours, and children 12 years or 7 to 12 is 10 to 11 hours, and teenagers around 8 to 9 hours. So how much sleep are you getting? Are you getting enough sleep? Is it difficult for you to fall asleep? Are you having trouble staying asleep? Are you having trouble with restlessness or getting up to urinate, or so many factors involved with sleep? As a naturopathic doctor, we do treat sleep often. So again, check out my website so you can find some tips and tricks on sleep. So, what does the CDC recommend on best hygiene practices against COVID-19? So the CDC's recommendations reflect the important role of hand hygiene for preventing the transmission of the pathogen. Hand hygiene includes hand washing or the use of alcohol-based hand sanitizers. Hand washing mechanically removes the pathogen, while laboratory data demonstrates that at least 60% ethanol or 70% isopropyl alcohol inactivates viruses that are genetically related to the 2019 nCoV. The CDC recommended alcohol-based hand sanitizers as the preferred form of hand hygiene in healthcare settings. However, in the community, hand washing with soap and water is superior at reducing transmission. Therefore, I recommend hand washing over hand sanitizing. However, in cases where there is no sink or soap available, then hand sanitizers are an excellent alternative. It is not recommended to create a do-it-yourself hand sanitizer. That being said, if you were going to do it at home, You would want to make sure you have a good quality alcohol base. I would recommend a 99% USP grade isopropyl alcohol. Or you can use a high grade, good quality ethanol. They're harder to come by right now. As well as you want some emollients like aloe vera, witch hazel, and some essential oils for smell. You can also find essential oils that have antimicrobial properties like tea tree, lavender, lemon, clove, peppermint, frankincense, or thyme. So, to be clear, while do-it-yourself hand sanitizers isn't recommended as a means of 100% protection, if you're going to try to make it, it is important to get the measurements right. The alcohol content must be over 70% if it's an IPA, so the isopropyl alcohol, for it to be effective at hindering the coronavirus outer envelope. However, the higher the percentage of the alcohol, the more it dries out the skin and breaks down the skin barrier. This can cause rashes, cracking, and infections. Sorry. Adding emollients such as coconut oil, vitamin E, witch hazel, or aloe can help moisturize the hands and prevent the skin barrier from breaking down. Quick note about aloe. It is excellent for cuts, scrapes, and burns. However, unless it is fresh from the plant, I generally don't recommend it. Why, might you ask? Since the main action in aloe vera becomes denatured in the processing and it has a short shelf life. So I have my little aloe plant in the back here. I actually don't put aloe in my own hand sanitizers. I use witch hazel. And the reason why I use witch hazel over aloe is because it's shelf stable. So if you're not using it right away, or you don't want to be like stressed for getting it used up in a week, right? Another thing to be aware of is when you're purchasing a hand sanitizer, it is important to know how to read a label. You want to avoid hand sanitizers containing technical grade ethanol, which has an increased impurities that can be harmful. Health Canada allowed technical grade ethanol to be on the market due to difficulty sourcing higher quality grades. And the technical grade allows for more impurities, which means that there's an increased likeliness or risk of ethyl esters or even methanol. And methanol can be very toxic. Then we also have something called triclosan. That's another product you want to avoid on the label. It's been banned by the FDA in antibacterial soaps, but you can still find it in some toothpaste and hand sanitizers. The reason why you want to avoid it, because it's an endocrine disruptor and it impacts your hormones. It is also not recommended that pregnant women use ethanol-based hand sanitizers. If you want to learn more about the dangers and why you may not want to be using certain hand sanitizers, please visit my website for more information. As for now, let's go over how you're supposed to use a hand sanitizer. So I have two hand sanitizers here. I'm not going to show you the label, but there's a gel and then there's a mist one. And so with the gel, you're going to do one full pump. And it's like it's a decent amount, and you're just going to rub it. Then you want to get in between your fingers, get your thumb, and you want to get the outside as well. I'll take this off. And you're just going to keep on going until it starts to like dry out. Now it's dry. The reason why you want to wait till it's dry is you want to make sure you cover that whole area. Another one, so this is one that I make. It's a spray. So there are some sprays out there too. So I just wanted to show you the difference. There's some emollients in here, so I always shake it first. That's to make sure that those emollients actually go into the spray as well. And then you're just gonna cover the hand and do the same thing. Okay, so now with the sprays, it's already dry or drying. So I'm gonna spray it on the back as well. Just like when you're washing dishes, you don't just wash the inside, right? You gotta wash the outside too. Yeah. Okay. So let's backtrack and let's go back to hand washing. You don't need antibacterial or antiseptic soap to remove COVID-19 from your skin. So stop digging through Amazon and internet trenches to find the right antibacterial soap. Don't need it. First of all, COVID-19 is a virus, not a bacteria. But let's go through some science behind it. Why do we use soap when we wash our hands? So soap works to protect us against COVID-19 in a technical way. Soap, whether it's natural, handmade, liquid, bar, foamy, antibacterial, I don't know, what other kinds of soaps are there? Lots. The main thing is they're made up of soap molecules. Those soap molecules possess hydrophobic, which is water hating, and hydrophilic, or water loving properties. And so when you introduce soap to water, the water attracts parts of the tiny soap molecule pointing them outward. This allows us to dissolve fat. So that is, we're dissolving fatty substances and liquids. It's great for washing dishes, getting all that crumbs and gunk off your silverware. Okay, so why is this important? So this is particularly important when dealing with COVID-19 because it's a coronavirus, which is a virus that is encased inside a lipid or a fatty envelope. So soap is able to dissolve the protective coating around the virus, making it less capable of surviving, while rinsing your hands off with water after breaking down the virus's coat removes it from your skin completely. How long do you wash your hands for? Do you remember to wet your hands first, then apply the soap? That's important. How do you scrub in between your fingers? You saw me with the hand sanitizers going in between the webs, doing the thumb, the back of the hand. Do you touch the faucet after washing your hands? If you need a crash course on how to wash your hands properly, the World Health Organization as well as Public Health Canada have videos on their websites on proper hand hygiene techniques. Now let's talk about face masks. Yes, face masks are important. Whenever you come in close proximity to someone outside of your bubble, you want to have a face mask. This is often seen indoors where spacing is limited, therefore impossible to socially distance 2 meters width apart. One note I would like to state, wearing a face mask is meant for you to protect others if you're carrying the virus. Therefore, by wearing the face mask, you are being courteous of others' health and safety. It does not protect you from someone within your 2 meter bubble if they are coughing or sneezing in your direction. Now it's important, like with anything, to use your PPE properly. Otherwise, why are you wearing it in the first place? I've seen so many people wearing face masks with their nose out so they can breathe. Or wearing it down below their chin, or pulling it down to talk and then putting it back up. Or what else? Oh yeah, grocery store. I saw a lady trying to fiddle with one of the produce bags and she couldn't get it open. So she put her finger under her mask, licked it to open the produce bag. Again, why are we wearing the mask then? Okay, so you should have a disposable or fresh, cleaned face mask each day. I have a couple different face mask designs and I'll show you how to put them on. If you need to double up using a face mask more than once, be extra careful when removing the mask and put it face down in a container for tomorrow's use. So I'm going to show you how to do that. Okay. So let me bring my face masks over. And unfortunately, I don't have a disposable today. I must have used my last one. But here we are. So this one's kind of my favorite design when it comes to the reusable. It's got the increased nose piece at the top. So you have no reason not to have your nose piece on. So whenever you're grabbing a face mask, you want to grab it from the actual sides that are going to go over your ears. So I'm going to move this back. And so then you're going to put on your face and over. Pretty easy, right? This one actually has a metal piece in it, so I can press it down, but not all reusable or face masks have that. So it's fully covering. There's no holes. I don't need to adjust this and make it tighter. It's good. I'm protected. And so then to remove it, you see how I just grabbed it like that? You would take it like this and you would grab your container, you put it down, like bad side down. You don't want to be touching the outside. Good side up with these guys out. Then you just you can put a lid on it if you want. You don't have to. But that way, when you go to grab it, you grab it from these and then you just put it straight back on like that without touching here. Okay? So that's that one. The other designs I have, so most of the other ones are like a flat, straight thing like this. I have a couple of them that are straight like this, and I want to show you different uses of those. So this one's straight, but this one's got like long thingies going on. So with these ones, I normally do wear my hair in like a bun or a ponytail. The reason for that is I'll show you. So normally the bun would hold this up. Because this could very easily fall down. And then you're just going to pull on the bottom, scoot it under, and then you see here, in order to get the seal, it almost has to be up, right? Otherwise, if I just put it here, it's going to be loose. Now it's loose in the bottom, right? That loose allows for things to get in. So with the bun, I would actually put it on top of the bun up top here. And then that will fully secure it. Now, there's nothing getting in along here or nothing getting out, right? Because we're avoiding getting out, spreading our germs. Okay, and to remove this one, again, you want to, if you're going to reuse it, make sure you're not touching the front of it. That's that one. Some people probably have seen these masks. So my husband deals with raccoons, so he has these. But these ones have to be fitted to your face. So you have to get a fitting done. So it's not recommended that anybody in the community uses these. These are meant for healthcare professionals or people who deal with rodents and stuff, like bats, feces, and whatnot. But with this one, it's got a significant metal part here. That's why it has to be fitted. And then you would go like, well, I'm not going to show this one, but yeah. Okay, I want to show you a problem with some face masks. So I love the design of this one, but my face, this is way too wide. And so what happens, look at how loose it is. It's so loose. And then this is what people end up walking around like that, right? And that, I'm wearing a chin strap at this point, right? It's way, way too loose. Now you can fix that simply by tying the sides up so that it's a little bit tighter. So let's see if I do a quick little tie here, if we're able to fix it. I don't use this one often because it also doesn't have a metal piece. This would be like I have nothing left and I need to go to the grocery store. Okay, so now we've added a little bit more. Yeah, okay, now it's too tight. Now my ears are getting out. So you have to adjust it. I would have to adjust this so that my ears aren't being destroyed, but at the same time, I want to make sure this is actually tight on. Note, this one covers a lot more of your face than this one, right? Gives you a little bit more breathing room in here because it's got the nose piece that goes up versus the other one, it's kind of straight across. And so I find with these ones, if you're wearing glasses, not only does it kind of poke them up, but you tend to fog more. Why did I want to show you this one? I don't know. This is just one that I got. It's thicker, and then it's got the nose piece too, so I clamp it down. And then it makes everything all nice and tight at the top. Without the nose piece, the metal piece in here, that would have been pretty far out, right? So that's fully secured. This would be very similar to like putting this on with the elastics and the nose piece would be very similar to your disposable. That's probably why I grabbed that one. So those are all the face masks. Now I was told that I should probably show you how to put, take off gloves. Not that many people wear them, but if you're putting gloves on, I mean, you're not going to touch here, right? If you're putting gloves on, yeah, you grab it from the wrist part. Same here. Grab it from the wrist part. You got your gloves on. How do you take them off? Okay, well, the first one is fine. You just grab it, right? You take that garbage one, you put it in this hand. This is the tricky part. You're going to take the wrist part of this on the underside, and you're going to kind of inside out it. There you are. Okay, so this side was touching your hand. It's clean. The inside was not, and then the other glove is inside this glove. So now this is safe to dispose of. There are many naturopathic medicine therapies, including nutrition, lifestyle, nutraceuticals, and botanicals that I did not discuss today, that can be used for a healthy immune system. In my upcoming immune health online class that you can purchase on my website, we will be going over the top food choices, nutraceuticals, and botanicals to support a healthy immune system. Many people ask me, well, what do you do? Well, along with proper hand hygiene and wearing a face mask, I also do a daily immune support regimen. I use a tablespoon of homemade elderberry syrup. I have a package of what I use right here. So there's some cinnamon, some ginseng root. It's all broken up. That's ginseng root there. The berries is elderberry, and then there's also some cloves in here. So I decoct that for 2 to 4 hours. Like it's a simmer, very low simmer. And then I add honey at the very end. I normally use a buckwheat honey if I have it available. If not, I use an organic unpasteurized honey. I use a tablespoon of an adaptogenic herbal blend. Adaptogens are good for stress modulation. They're also immunomodulators. And so then the tincture I use personally has ashwagandha, passion flower, schisandra, and holy basil. I've adopted a plant-based or plant-focused diet since January. And then I also do thyme, parsley, cilantro, garlic, ginger, clove, turmeric, and oregano. A lot of your household spices actually have antimicrobial properties. They're also anti-inflammatory and they help support the immune system. As well as I personally use some nutraceuticals. I use magnesium, vitamin D, probiotics, and berberine. And then I also have some herbal teas with honey again, especially if my throat's a bit sore. Yeah, so those are my top ones that I do daily. Now, when I get sick, it does change, but we'll talk about that in a different one. So thank you again for joining. Was this Facebook Live event helpful for you and your family? Is there anything I missed that you wish I went through? Are you interested in supporting your immune system? And maybe you're not sure what dosage to take or what to take? Adult versus children dosages are significantly different, and depending on your other health concerns, some of these choices that I've named off of my own may not be right for you. As a naturopathic doctor, I'm trained in immune health, and I can tailor make a treatment plan for you. I'm now offering appointments virtually, so please book your one-on-one appointment online at my website, www.drjmoultond.com. Thank you and enjoy the rest of your evening.